All right, everybody. So let's begin. We're going to settle into our comfortable seat, Sukhasana. And just allow your eyes to either close or soften, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you feel you need this morning. And begin to notice your breath. And begin to just listen to your breath. What does it sound like? Is it loud or soft, smooth, or a little bit jagged? And don't change it, just listen to it as it naturally exists. And then, if you can, begin to think about deepening your breath a little bit. Inhaling the breath in through your nose, feeling the air come down through your throat, down into your chest, and then allowing your belly to expand. And then as you exhale, I'm going to do the opposite. So allowing your belly to contract, pressing the air up out of our lungs through our throat and out through our mouth. And now continue this pattern of deeply breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth for a few breath cycles. And now, as you continue to breathe, just allow one hand to come to your chest and one hand to rest on your belly. And as you inhale, I want you to first feel your lungs expand, then feel your belly expand. And then as you exhale, allow your belly to contract back in, and then feel your lungs decrease in size. Really, it's your ribs that kind of contract and relax. And we're really just using our hands as cues. They allow us to make sure that the breath is coming into all the areas that it's supposed to, that we're not just breathing into our chest, that we're also expanding our belly and allowing our diaphragm to contract down. And you can either allow the hands to stay there, or you can let them relax back down to your knees. And continue that breathing pattern. And after your next inhale, just allow yourself to sigh out the breath. And one more time, breathe all the way in. And sigh your breath out. And just allow yourself now to return to your usual breathing pattern, a pattern that occurs without any thought or any effort. And at this moment, just allow an intention to come to the front of your mind. What is it that you want to get out of your yoga practice today? One single word that brought you to the mat, or one single word that's just super meaningful to you today. And once you have it, so visualize it, see that word, and then allow yourself to kind of just internalize that word, feel it throughout your body. Know that it's what you're going to focus on during your practice. And now, as you're ready, allow your eyes to blink open. They can stay soft if you'd like, and you can just listen to my words instead of fully focusing on the screen. And allow your arms, as you inhale, to reach all the way up towards the sky, reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, bring your arms back down. And again, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring your arms back down. Now allow your right arm to come up towards the ceiling and just gently bend to the side, keeping your spine long. And then bring that arm back down. And as you bring it down, start reaching with your other arm up towards the sky, bending to the side slightly. And again, switch it up, going the opposite way, bending to the other side. And one more time, the arm comes down as the other arm floats up. Just beginning to warm up our spine with some little side bends. Come right back to the center and bring your hands right to your heart. And as you stay in your Sukhasana position, allow your hands just to come to your knees for a moment. And we're just gonna move into a little cat-cow here and seated. So gently kind of allow your chest to expand forward, broadening through your collarbones. And then on an exhale, round your spine, bending back, kind of dropping your tailbone down towards the floor. And again, on an inhale, reach forward, broadening through your collarbones. And then round your spine as you exhale. And just allow yourself to flow through a couple more of these, using your own breath pattern. It can be as big or small as you want. You can get a little creative and you can kind of maybe circle through them, which I find to be really nice sometimes, especially when I'm feeling extra tight. Good, and then meet me right back in the center. Now, if you have a bolster underneath you, I would just ask that you push it off to the side. We're just gonna allow our legs to straighten in front of us, is keeping a little bend in the knees, and just, we're gonna begin to warm up the spine, making sure that it's stretched out and ready to move. So inhale your arms straight up towards the ceiling. And then just gently, with a long spine, start bending forward. And then as you get closer to your legs, you can allow your spine to bend, with the goal to be that we're resting our head right on our knees. And just allow yourself to breathe here for a moment, thinking about really using your breath to expand through your lower back. And now, connect your palms with the floor, and then just use them to press yourself back up to seated. Allow your legs to bend so that we can transition to tabletop. So now we're in tabletop, and I just invite you to think about grounding your knuckles into the floor, really pressing up through the palms of your hands, feeling that stability that gives you up through your shoulders. And a long spine, so a crown of our head kind of lengthens towards the front of the room. And now I'm gonna really throw you guys off by doing a little bit of a different cat-cow. So this cat-cow is going to just have the opposite head movement as usual. So as we kind of allow our tailbone to come up towards the ceiling and our collarbones to expand, we're gonna tuck our head down towards the floor. And then as we round our spine, we're gonna lift our head up towards the ceiling. Really challenge your brain and allow your collarbones to expand, tailbone towards the ceiling, head tucks down, and then around the spine. Head comes up as you push up through your arms and shoulder blades spread apart. And again, round your head towards the ground as you lift your tailbone. And continue through that a few times. It's gonna feel awkward. This is really a great way, though, to kind of challenge our brains, which become kind of inflexible as we get into movement patterns that are the same. And we're doing what we call flossing our nerves that go all the way from our heads, all the way down our spines and into our legs. Good, and then go ahead and meet me in tabletop, the neutral spine position. And I invite you to just walk your knees back slightly and then bend through your elbows, come all the way down to your bellies. Allow the tops of your feet to release to the floor. And then bring your arms out in front of you a little bit with your elbows in line with your shoulders. So we're coming to a Sphinx pose. And here in Sphinx, let me actually turn to the side just so that you guys can see me a little bit better. So we're in our Sphinx. We're kind of in this little mini back bend, and our head is nice and long. And what we're gonna do here is let's start with the right leg. As we lift our right leg, our head is gonna tuck down. And then bring the right leg back down. The head comes back up. Again, lift the leg, tuck the head down. Allow the leg to come down, bring the head back up. And let's just do 2 more of those, lifting the leg, tucking the head. And then 1 more. And meet right back in your Sphinx pose. And then we'll move on to the other side. So lift the left leg, tuck the toes down. Head comes up, leg comes down. Just move through a few of those. You may find that one side seems tighter than the other. One side might seem harder to do than another. This is all normal. Everybody has side-to-side differences within their body, different flexibilities, different nerve lengths and flexibilities, different joint flexibilities. Everybody is put together a little bit differently. Good, and now relax out of that. And now I invite you to press yourself up through tabletop and just take a child's pose for a moment. Feel yourself reaching through your fingertips, really allowing your shoulders to stretch out, your upper back to stretch out. And I'm just going to turn myself back to the front. And now from our child's pose, for a moment, press yourself back up into your tabletop position. Tuck your toes under and press yourself up into your down dog. That's our first down dog. We might feel nice and tight in our hamstrings, so allow yourself some grace. Allow yourself a gentle bend in your knees. No forcing your legs to be straight here. And just breathe. You take 2 clearing breaths again, sighing out through your mouth. And then gently walk your feet to your hands. Good, and just allow yourself to bend your knees here, really taking advantage of this nice forward fold. Hands can hang down. You can interlock your hands on your elbows. Whatever feels good to you, whatever serves you today. And now allow your hands to come to your waist. And on an exhale, lift your chest, coming to half lift. And then press all the way up to standing. And now is where we lose my head. So bear with me. We're gonna go right into a gentle sun salutation. So on an inhale, reach your arms up and wide. Exhale, swan dive forward. Come all the way down to forward fold. Inhale, come up to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now on an inhale, bring your hands to the ground. Allow yourself to step back to plank. And then on an exhale, bend your elbows. Allow your chest to come down to the floor and come all the way down to your belly. And now allow your feet, tops of your feet to come to the floor. Hands right underneath your shoulders. And on an inhale, press the tops of your feet into the ground and just gently begin to lift your chest. Really using the muscles in your back to lift instead of pressing through your hands. And then allow yourself to come back down to the floor. And again, on an inhale, press firmly into the tops of your feet. Begin to lift your chest. And you can lift slightly higher this time. And exhale back down. And now this time I invite you to press up into whatever is your version of cobra. It can be baby, it can be a full cobra. Okay, it can even be up dog if that's in your practice. So on your next inhale, press into the tops of your feet, lift your chest up nice and high, coming into a nice back bend. And then this time on an exhale, tuck your toes, press yourself up through either your plank or your tabletop, and come right into down dog. And really think about lifting your tailbone up towards the sky, broadening through your seat, and continuing to have that feeling that you're kind of grounding through your knuckles and making a little dome through the palm of your hand. And now from here, allow yourself just to come back down into your tabletop for a moment. Re-ground yourself, feel that the ground beneath you as it's where all of our support comes from. And now allow yourself to straighten your right leg behind you, really reaching through that heel towards the back of the room. And then bring your knee forward, bring your foot between your hands. And then I invite you to lift your back knee off the ground, grounding your foot. So allowing your toes to turn out slightly, grounding that heel. And then on an inhale, lift your arms, bend through your front knee, like push through the outer edge of your back foot. You're in warrior one. Continue to connect with your breath. Feel yourself really lifting through your spine. Feel this nice lightness as you kind of lift your spine off your pelvis. And then on an exhale, turn your back foot out to 90 degrees, open up to warrior two. Hold yourself in warrior two here for a moment, and then just float back into reverse warrior. Okay. And then float back to warrior two, nice and gently, feeling that your spine is lifting off your pelvis. And now we're gonna straighten our front knee, reach out through our front fingers, really reach towards the front of the room, allow that top arm to come down to your shin as you reach through the back arm, opening up into side angle pose. And then let's just kind of come in and out of extended side angle. So allow yourself to kind of sweep that arm forward, just pausing for a moment in full extended side angle, and then bring it back up. And then again, reach forward with that arm, extended side angle just for a second, and then reach back up. Good. Just stay here for a moment, or if you want to hang out in your extended side angle, really challenge your balance a little bit, come right to this position. Good, and then on your next exhale, press yourself out of the side angle, come right back to warrior two. Good, and then float again into your reverse warrior, just pausing for one breath here. And then keeping your front knee bent, float your arms forward and come right into, I call it a right angle pose, but I know that's not the correct yoga term, but we'll just go with it. Now bring your top arm down to the ground, both on the inside of your outer leg. And allow your back knee to come to the ground. And here we're just gonna stretch out a little bit. So your hands can both stay grounded, and you can kind of push forward with this knee. Push forward, opening up through the back hip. And you can also allow your knee to kind of push out on a diagonal. A little bit different of a stretch that we don't always get in our yoga practice. And now bring your inside hand to the outside of your leg as you kind of narrow your base of support a little bit, bringing your legs closer together. And then straighten through the front knee, allowing our chest to come forward, likely feeling a nice little pull in our hamstring. And you can relax your crown forward so we're not straining through the neck. Good, and then push back forward through that leg, and then allow it to come back to meet your back leg. And now I invite you just to press into a little bit of a puppy pose. So instead of a child's pose here, we're gonna let these arms come long in front of us. We're gonna keep our hips high, bringing our forehead to the ground. And if puppy isn't good for you, feel free to go into a child's pose. Now press firmly into your hands. Walk yourself back to meet back in a tabletop position as we just move on to our warrior sequence on the other side. Allow your left leg this time to reach towards the back of the room, really pressing through your heel, lengthening your spine, really kind of feeling like you're tractioning your spine. So making space between your vertebrae as you stretch back. And then bring your left knee forward between your hands. And then tuck your toes in the back, allowing your knee to lift, and then rotate your foot so that your heel is in contact with the ground as you reach up through your arms, coming to warrior one. Begin to feel your spine lift high, lifting off your pelvis. As we begin to rotate our back leg to 90 degrees as we open up into our warrior two. Really hug your front hip back. Press to the outer edge of your back foot. Keep your arms long as you gaze out over your middle finger. And gently float into reverse warrior. Allow your back arm to come down. Reach through your front arm. Keeping the bend in your front knee and trying to keep your spine long. We don't really want to compress through the kind of back part of our side as we come into this position. And then float back into warrior two just for a moment as we straighten our front knee
And if we need to, we can narrow our base of support, walking our back foot in slightly. And we'll begin to stretch forward as far as we can, and then allow your front arm to come down, opening up to side angle. And now again, just as we did on the other side, allow your top arm to sweep forward, coming into extended side angle for a moment, and then reaching back. And again, reach into side angle. And then you can either stay here, or you can come back. You can continue to sweep in and out if you want a little bit of that dynamic movement within this asana. Good, and then as you're ready, sweep the arms back up. Return yourself to warrior two for a moment, really working on realigning that pelvis directly underneath you. Sweep your arm up, come right up into reverse warrior just for a moment as we prepare to sweep our arms forward and come to right angle pose. Hold it here. Really think about opening up through your chest. So really kind of getting your shoulder blades to come together and continuing to breathe. That's always important. As we get into some of these poses that we hold, if we really refocus on our breath and steadying our breathing pattern, that can really help with our overall balance. And now allow your top hand to come to the ground. Coming back into a low lunge, allow the back knee to rest on your mat. And then we're just gonna walk this foot out slightly towards the side of your mat, turning your toes out, and just for a moment, press into your low lunge. This is a time where it's completely safe to let our knee come in front of our ankle. Really opening up the hips here. And now walk that foot back in. Allow the hand to come to the outside. Both hands framing your foot. And then bring your hips up and back. Allow your toes to come off the ground. Bend forward slightly. And begin to feel that stretch in your hamstring. And then allow yourself to come back forward. Hands framing the foot again. Walk that foot back to meet your other leg. And this time just for a second, more than a second, but press into your child's pose. Now come on back up to tabletop. Just resetting here for a moment, feeling yourself return to your neutral spine position. And then we're gonna step our right foot forward, coming into a low lunge. And then inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and just for a moment, come to cactus. Cactus is a nice little break for our shoulders. It allows us to relax here through our upper traps, which sometimes gets strained when we come overhead. And now, as we stay in the lunge, allow your arms to come behind you, interlacing your fingers, and then just really opening up through your chest, pressing your fists towards the ground, and keeping your spine long, really feeling that opening. Good, and then release your arms. Bring them to the top of your thigh. We're gonna press up out of that low lunge a little bit. Stepping the right leg back to meet the left. I'm just turning so you can see. We're gonna tuck our toes here. We're gonna come into a toe kneel. So this is can be kind of intense if you have a block at home. what you can do is allow yourself to sit down onto your block like this. But for those of us who don't, we just won't stay there for too long. So we're gonna start up like this, toes tucked under. I'm gonna come into eagle arms. So bring the right arm forward, allow the left arm to tuck beneath, cross it over, bringing your forearms or your palms together if you can, and then allow yourself to sit back into toe kneel. And here, I just invite you to lift your arms slightly. So feel your elbows begin to move upwards. And it's just gonna change the stretch of the eagle a little bit. And maybe give us somewhere to mentally focus that is not screaming out as much as the bottoms of our toes are right now. And just breathe and try to relax through it. Good, and then press up. Allow the arms to unwind. Allow the toes to kind of rest and relax a little bit. Maybe wiggle them, give them a little rest. Good, and then again, tuck those toes under. This time, your right arm comes up. Oh, actually, opposite. Your left arm comes up. Your right arm is going to cross underneath. Coming into eagle arms, allow your butt to sit back onto your heels. Keep your torso nice and upright, and then just gently lift those elbows up towards the ceiling. Feeling that nice stretch in your shoulders. Feeling that not so nice stretch, probably in the bottoms of your feet. And allow yourself to breathe through it. Allow your breath to bring your focus to a different place, an internal place, a place where you can not think about the external discomfort, or we don't like to say pain, but sometimes when we're stretching and doing new things, it is not so nice of a feeling. Good, and then allow your arms to unwind and come back up, allow those toes to relax. And then when the toes feel like they're ready, you're gonna just bring the left foot forward now, coming to low lunge on the opposite side. Allow your arms to reach up towards the ceiling. Feeling the gentle stretch you might be feeling in the front of your back thigh. And now bring the arms down to your thigh first, and then bring them behind your back, interlacing your fingers together, pressing down towards the floor, allowing your chest to really open up. And then just hold yourself there for a moment as it feels okay. If it starts feeling not so good, feel free to let it go. And now allow your hands to come back down to the floor, coming back to your tabletop. And we're gonna transition into another puppy pose this time, but we're gonna turn it into a little bit of a tricep stretch. So coming into puppy, we're gonna be here in puppy, and then you're gonna bring your hands together, kind of like in a prayer position, and then just bend your elbows here. If you can, hopefully you can all see that, bending your elbows. We're gonna change where we feel the stretching sensation as we kind of relax into our puppy pose. And again, if puppy isn't good for you, child's pose is always available, and you can do the same kind of stretch here. Now we're gonna allow ourselves to press back up, and then join me in a seated position. Legs are gonna come straight forward. And allowing your right knee to bend, crossing it over your left leg, sitting up nice and tall. Allow yourself to begin to twist, so bringing your left elbow to the outside of your right leg. Other arm comes back and we twist. We want to keep our spine nice and long, really lengthening, feeling the crown of our head stretch towards the ceiling. And this is really about giving some love to our spine. We don't want to overdo it. It's not about who can kind of rotate the farthest. We all have different flexibilities. And as you breathe into this pose, you may feel that your spine begins to release and you can stretch a little bit further back. And now release back forward, allowing this leg to straighten again. And now we'll bend through our left leg, crossing it over our right. And then as you're ready, bring your right elbow to your left knee and rotate to the other side. And now come back forward for a moment. Allow both legs to straighten or bend slightly as we're gonna transition our way onto our backs. I'm gonna come forward a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see me. I'm gonna turn to the side. So on our backs, we wanna keep our knees nice and bent. Arms are gonna contact the floor. We want our palms connected to the ground. We wanna feel our shoulder blades press into the ground as well. We'll walk our heels slightly towards our butts. And then on an exhale, press up through your feet, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling, pushing those hip points straight up. We're really engaged through our glutes. Feel yourself continuing to lift even as you might be getting tired. And then allow your butt to come back down. Again, really press through your hands, anchoring your shoulders, and then press through your heels and lift those hips up towards the ceiling. And this time we're just gonna pulse slightly. So you're all the way up, we're gonna gently lower halfway, and pulse back up. Lower halfway, and pulse back up. Lower halfway, and pulse back up. And then allow yourself to fully relax down. Give your knees a little hug and you can kind of circle around a little bit, massaging that lower back, which always feels really nice. And then allow the heels to come back down, feet in contact with the ground. We're gonna cross our right leg over our left, really engaging our foot. And we wanna bring our toes back, kind of flexing through our foot. Make sure we're still in that good position where we could do a bridge. Press those palms into the ground, and then on an exhale, press yourself up, lifting. Really feeling the difference between the single leg and the double leg bridge. Keep lifting those hip points, and then relax down. And now we're just going to take a moment to do a little stretch. So I ask you to just interlace your hands behind your knee and gently pull those legs towards your chest. Now this is where we start to really feel it in this hip that's crossed over towards our glutes in most people. And just breathe into this one. Our head should stay relaxed on the mat. Our shoulders should stay relaxed on the mat. We really just allow that hip to open up. Good, and then allow that leg to come back towards the mat. Uncross the legs and just windshield wiper the legs a little bit. Give those hips a little break. Stretch them side to side. Also just gives you a little bit of time to open up through the lower back again. And now bring the feet back to the floor. And this time, I'm gonna cross the left leg over the right. Pull those toes back as you flex your foot. Make sure you're ready for a bridge. Press those hands into the floor, and then on an exhale, press your hips up towards the ceiling. Really pressing, trying to keep this leg open. As you can probably see, my flexibility of my hips is not so great. Continue to breathe, continue to press those hip points straight up towards the ceiling. Really firing up that one glute. And then relax back down. And then here, allow your hands to interlace behind your right knee, your right thigh, gently pulling them back towards your chest. And now keep that foot engaged in the flex position to really help protect your knee. Good, and then allow that leg to come back down, uncross the knees. And again, just a little windshield wiper back and forth. Windshield wiper those legs. And now, as we continue to work on opening up these hips, let's move into a little bound angle pose in supine. So you want to bring the bottoms of your feet together, press them together, and then as you kind of lay in this position, allow your knees to just relax open. And you may want to adjust how close or how far your feet are to your pelvis. So some of you are going to feel much better with your feet tucked up really close, and others of you are going to feel better in this kind of position. It really depends how your hip joints are created. Everybody's hip joints and sockets are put together a little bit differently. So find a place where it feels okay to you, where there's just a gentle feeling of opening and not an intense stretch. And here, again, if you do have blocks, this is a place where if you're feeling too much, you can put a block to support your knee as you allow it to gently open. And you just relax and breathe. Maybe continue to refocus on your word, the word that you chose at the beginning of your practice, and check in with your body. Excuse me, and see if you feel like you met your goal. If you really were able to connect with your intention. And now allow those knees to come together. You can use your hands to press them together if that feels better for you. And just now stretch your legs long and just kind of rotate your hips, your legs side to side. Just let them release after that opening they just did. And now just begin to set yourself up for your final resting pose. Savasana. Legs should be apart, arms should be wide. No props in the way. And feel yourself to begin to relax as you feel the ground kind of hug every limb, your legs, your arms, your head, your pelvis. And just for a few moments, just really let all the thoughts go, as I'm sure practicing yoga at home is just so different than practicing in the studio. There's extra noises, extra distractions, probably thoughts of what you need to do after you get up from your mat. And just really allow yourself to take a clearing breath here and let all of that go. You're just here in the present on your yoga mat, which is so familiar. And now allow some movement to come into your toes and into your fingers. Gently bringing some life back into those limbs. And then gently make your way back to your easy seated position. And you can roll to your side, pausing in fetal position, and then gently press up to seated as you feel ready. Joining me in your cross-legged position. And once you are in your seated position, allow your hands to rest open, palms up towards the ceiling, long spine, eyes can soften. Namaste, everyone.